Ethical boundaries of agitation techniques. In an era where social movements shape global narratives, agitation techniques have become indispensable tools for activists striving toward justice. These methods are designed to provoke thought, mobilize communities, and challenge oppressive systems, but they must be wielded responsibly. The ethical use of agitation is critical because when misapplied, these tactics can spiral into chaos, alienate allies, and undermine long-term goals. Understanding their boundaries ensures that agitation remains a force for positive transformation rather than destruction. Understanding the purpose of agitation in social change. Agitation serves as a catalyst for societal evolution by highlighting injustices and compelling authorities or institutions to act. It draws attention to issues often overlooked in mainstream discourse, ensuring marginalized voices are heard. This form of engagement goes beyond mere protest. It encompasses strategic communication, media savvy, and community organization aimed at shifting public opinion and policy frameworks. Effective agitation requires both passion and precision. Historically, civil rights marches, labor strikes, and digital campaigns have demonstrated how agitation can drive legislative changes and cultural shifts. The key lies in aligning methods with objectives while respecting ethical standards. A well-planned agitation strategy includes identifying target audiences, selecting appropriate channels, and anticipating potential backlash from opposition forces. This foresight helps maintain momentum without sacrificing moral integrity. Agitation techniques, demonstrations, public gatherings that draw attention through size and symbolism, fostering solidarity among participants. Social media campaigns, utilizing platforms to amplify messages rapidly across diverse demographics, creating viral awareness. Lobbying efforts, directly influencing policymakers through informed dialogue and grassroots support. Civil disobedience, deliberately breaking laws deemed unjust as a means of drawing attention to causes. Movements, sustained efforts that organize individuals around shared values and objectives, building lasting impact. The ethical framework of agitational strategies. An ethical approach to agitation begins with clear intentions focused solely on promoting equity and fairness. Activists must ensure their actions do not exploit vulnerable populations or incite unnecessary violence. Transparency regarding motives and expected outcomes enhances credibility and trust within activist circles and broader society. Open communication prevents misunderstandings and fosters collective accountability. Respect for human dignity underpins every action taken during agitation campaigns. Nonviolent resistance, even in face of aggression, reinforces the legitimacy of the cause being championed. Engaging stakeholders, including affected communities, legal experts, and media representatives, ensures strategies are inclusive and responsive to real-world complexities. Involving these groups builds stronger coalitions capable of enduring challenges. Consider this: a campaign targeting environmental degradation might involve local residents who depend on natural resources daily. Their input shapes approaches that balance urgency with practicality. Balancing intensity and respectful dialogue. Finding equilibrium between passionate advocacy and respectful discourse is essential for effective agitation. While intensity drives visibility, respect maintains constructive relationships necessary for progress. Striking this balance involves understanding audience sensitivities and tailoring messaging accordingly. For example, addressing corporate interests may require formal language versus conversational tones used when speaking directly to impacted citizens. When emotions run high due to urgent matters such as police brutality or climate disasters, maintaining calm professionalism becomes crucial to prevent escalation into conflict scenarios. Training programs focusing on de-escalation skills empower activists to manage tense situations gracefully without compromising their core message's strength. Historically successful movements like those led by Martin Luther King Jr. exemplify nonviolent yet fervent leadership styles that inspired millions globally without resorting to hostility. Case studies in ethical agitation practices. Examining past successes provides insight into what works best ethically within various contexts. One notable case involved peaceful sit-ins outside government buildings demanding fair wages, a method widely accepted internationally. These demonstrations were strategically timed to coincide with economic reports showing disparities between workers' earnings and executive compensation levels. Such timing maximized relevance and receptivity from decision-makers. Participants wore uniforms representing different industries so attendees could easily identify themselves based upon occupation rather than socioeconomic status alone. Media coverage was carefully managed through press releases and interviews conducted post-event to reinforce key points made publicly without sensationalism or misinformation. Lessons learned: public visibility. Choosing locations visible to news outlets increases chances of widespread reporting, which amplifies reach significantly. Consistency. Regular events create patterns recognizable by both supporters and critics alike, establishing routine engagement habits beneficial over time. Nonviolence. Avoiding confrontational behavior reduces risk of legal repercussions against organizers and participants alike. Dialogue engagement. Encouraging open conversations instead of confrontation encourages mutual understanding, potentially leading towards compromise solutions. Navigating legal and cultural constraints. Every region has distinct laws governing protests and assemblies that must be understood before initiating any agitation activity. Ignorance here risks arrests, fines, or worse, injuries resulting from unpreparedness. Researching relevant legislation enables planners to operate legally while still achieving desired effects. Knowing permissible timescales, required permits, and restricted areas informs better planning decisions ahead of time. Cultural norms also play pivotal roles determining acceptable forms of expression, especially within indigenous communities whose traditions differ substantially from urban settings. Consulting elders or cultural leaders prior to launching initiatives shows respect and increases likelihood of approval from traditional power structures present locally. For instance, certain tribal lands prohibit photography unless explicitly authorized, and oversight could lead to serious diplomatic incidents affecting future relations negatively. Building coalitions through shared values. Strong alliances built upon common ground strengthen agitation effectiveness considerably. Diverse coalitions bring varied perspectives, enhancing creativity behind each initiative launched collectively. Identifying overlapping concerns allows organizations to collaborate meaningfully rather than competing separately, which dilutes overall influence achieved together versus apart individually. Regular meetings facilitated via online forums help sustain ongoing collaboration despite geographical distances separating members physically but united digitally through purpose. Shared documentation repositories ensure everyone accesses updated information consistently regardless location, thereby reducing confusion arising from outdated data sources. Such coordination mechanisms prove invaluable, particularly during crises requiring immediate responses supported jointly rather than singly isolated attempts lacking sufficient capacity independently. Measuring impact without compromising integrity. Assessing success metrics accurately guides future strategies effectively without distorting truthfulness inherent in genuine activism practices. Metrics should reflect actual contributions made rather than inflated numbers misleading others. Intentionally. Surveys administered pre- and post-campaign measure attitude changes, indicating whether messaging resonated successfully among intended recipients. Feedback loops formed this way enable refinement, continuously improving quality delivered thereafter. Data analytics track website traffic spikes correlating directly with campaign launches, helping pinpoint most influential periods warranting increased investment thereon subsequently. However, caution must prevail since quantitative measures sometimes overlook qualitative aspects equally vital, contributing factors shaping ultimate results obtained overall. Combining both types assessments offers holistic views, enabling informed choices moving forward confidently, knowing exactly what worked previously, thus replicable elsewhere. Similarly situated environments. Conclusion: agitation techniques remain powerful instruments when employed judiciously, aligned firmly with principles guiding responsible conduct amidst turbulent sociopolitical landscapes today. By prioritizing ethics alongside efficacy, activists cultivate sustainable transformations rooted deeply within societal fabric itself, ensuring longevity beyond transient victories won temporarily without solid foundations beneath them.